Prince Harry and Meghan Markle just released the first 3 episodes of their Netflix docuseries, and everybody's talking about it, but I would like to talk to you about the top 17 cringiest moments from the Harry and Meghan Netflix docuseries. I'm Deanna from Hot for History, so please subscribe and like my videos for more royalty and videos on history. I'm going to get to the most embarrassing and cringiest moments of the first 3 episodes. First, I'd like to say it wasn't as awful as I thought toward the royal family. They really made the press the enemy of the story, and yet the cringiest and most embarrassing moments from the docuseries, some of them are big ones. And my overall review for this, I think many Americans are probably going to love this, and yet probably the people in the UK will probably hate this. For myself, there were many things that I really liked about the series. For Harry and Meghan, I think they probably will find their way in America, and they'll find more opportunities for them to be able to present more entertainment. I came in there as one of the hate watchers or one of the curiosity seekers, and yet I did end up kind of understanding their story a little bit more, and yet there were some embarrassing and cringy moments that I do want to talk about. General observations of most of the positives were the music. The soundtrack was awesome. I thought that they did a great job with that. Video intro, I think, missed the mark. I've seen a lot of Netflix series intros and they have been amazing. This was okay. I do like seeing the snapshots from the childhood, but I felt like it didn't really hit the mark. In the first 3 episodes, I don't think that many of us felt this sense of empathy and compassion for them as they probably would want, because we don't understand really what the big problem is. We don't understand why we should feel this depth of emotion and sympathy toward them, because it's sort of like rich people problems. For some of us that are watching, we're like, okay, yeah, but they haven't created a sense of, oh my gosh, I understand this. It was extremely sweet hearing Archie's voice, him inserting his little personality here and there. Thought that was great. Loved the home shots that they had. Loved the cuts of Harry and William as children with Charles and Diana. Thought those were great. Loved the history lesson regarding the slavery in the UK, as well as Harry fessing up to his mistakes in the past regarding dressing up like a Nazi and saying some racial slurs to some of his platoon mates in the army. I really did like that Meghan confessed to really not knowing what it was like to be treated unfairly because of her race. She admits, because she was so fair-skinned, that she didn't really understand totally what it was like to see the prejudice against her. I also like that she made a comment of how nobody teaches you how to be of mixed race. Watching the whole thing, one of my biggest takeaways and one of my biggest sadness and frustrations, the historian was mentioning how it was so exciting to have a princess or a royal that would come into the family who could represent what the UK looks like now, which is very blended with many people from all over the world. I feel like Meghan and Harry, they could have had an opportunity within the royal structure if they had continued with that. They could have done more by staying within the royal family, trying to truly make change. I have like 17 cringy moments, embarrassing moments from the first 3 episodes. Number 1, starting the whole thing like we were ending our royal duties, and then all of a sudden it was like, what happened? That seems disingenuous. He says, what happened? Well, he resigned his position, and he may not know what's going to happen exactly, but as far as what happened, you made a choice. And now you're in that position. You guys made a decision. Number 2, I thought that it was sort of shocking and potentially cringy. Not to me, because I actually thought that Meghan looked really good without her makeup. I thought it was like fun as an American looking in and seeing her mostly, all dressed up to the nines. I thought it was great to see her like that. I thought she looked amazing. But I didn't like that she said, okay, like they had these Instagram shots of her and she's like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say, twice within like a few minutes. And I think as somebody who would be producing or directing something like that, I would have said, okay, people come in to find out information. They're watching to get information. They don't want to have in the very beginning the, heroes of the show going, I don't know what to say. We want something specific. And I didn't like that. I thought that was somewhat cringy and a kind of a bad choice. I also, even in the towel scene, when she starts to cry a little bit, I don't believe her. I feel like it was one of those Amber Heard moments. Did not like that. That's number 3. Number 4, very cringy to so many of us, the whole H thing, calling him H all the time. I mean, 1 time, 2 times, fine, but like Didn't like that. Thought that that was cringy. Number 5, she had to wait half an hour at Soho House. If you've ever been to Soho House, it's the most amazing place, especially Soho House in London. It's fine. I know nobody wants to be stood up on a date, but she did know that it was Prince Harry and he's texting her. So I don't know. I thought that was somewhat cringy for her to talk about. I also thought it was a little bit revealing. Is she really like thinking these things? This is not cringy, but I have to put this in here. That I really liked was that there was a flashback as kids with Harry, Will, Eugenie, and Beatrice on the ski slopes. And it was kind of sad that they had to do a press event. But at one point it was so cute because you could see the boys were extremely protective of their little cousins. And they were like, Eugenie, are you okay? And I thought that that was a really sweet moment. Number 6, could not believe. It was very unbelievable to me when she's like, I don't even really know like who Prince Harry was. I didn't even know who the royal family was. I don't think that she was as naive as that. I mean, she's a woman who's been around the world. She talks about meeting her girlfriend at Bergdorf Goodman's for tea. Not everybody even knows about the tea room at Bergdorf's. I mean, she had to have known who Prince Harry was. I understood what they were going for with the sacrifice line. Like, she gave up everything for me. Now I need to give up everything for her. I don't see it as an even kind of swap, number 1. And it was hard to really feel any pain about that. We aren't really getting what you're saying because I think in order for us to feel that we understand why they gave everything up, we need to see what was so awful. And we weren't really seeing what was so awful. I know they were trying to say that she was being hounded as much as Diana, but we weren't seeing that. We weren't really feeling their pain, and they haven't established the believability. And most of us feel that Harry was sacrificing so much more with very little in return. I don't feel like it plays well. Plus, it sounds really pretentious. It's like, look, these are rich people problems. These are totally rich people problems. I don't think we believed it as much. It was interesting. We wanted to watch and kind of see like, okay, so what does he mean by this? But I don't think we really believed it. So that was number 7. So number 8, I don't believe that they fully just met on Instagram because of a dog face Snapchat filter that she had on. We've all used that filter. We've seen a million people in there and it's like, really? And plus, there's been news out for months that she had been actually asking her friends, hey, do you know any rich British guys? I don't know if I believe that either, but I don't necessarily believe that it was just as like, oh, well, he said, how cute. Who is she? Like, I don't think that that's kind of what happened. So I did not believe that. Every good story has to have an enemy. So they didn't really make the royal family the enemy. They did make the press the enemy. The only problem is that we didn't really see the press being the enemy. We saw all kinds of flashy stuff, but some of that stuff was stock photos. At least 2 of those were stock photos. And then the other things with the press and all of that were made to make things sound dramatic. Even when they're sitting in their car in New York City, I think it was New York, and like they're like, hey, there was somebody down there taking our pictures. Well, they're going to be taking your pictures everywhere. People with social media are going to be taking your pictures too. Where's the guy on the scooter? We don't even see the guy on the scooter. So it was really hard to really believe how evil the press is without necessarily seeing what the press has done for them. So I thought that was cringy. The engagement surprise seemed fake with her going, oh my gosh, it's happening, it's happening. It didn't seem like it was genuine or a surprise. So it was hard to really think, oh my gosh, it's so sweet, it's so wonderful. Personally, this is me. I didn't like that they did Remembrance Day in New Jersey. I do like the fact, very much so, that Harry is a 10-year veteran, 2 tours of Afghanistan, helicopter pilot. I think that that's really amazing. And it was really great for us to remember that about him. But I just feel like them going to a New Jersey base is sort of staged. It's like they're in America, so, you know, we're not going to go over to the UK where we really could talk to other people that were connected with what Harry had done, but that I felt that that was cringy. Number 12, uninviting her niece, Ashley. That seemed very untrue. I cannot imagine her being able to invite Oprah, George Clooney, and not invite her niece, who she describes as somebody who's very, very close to her. Didn't make sense. Now we're getting into sort of the more intense, extremely cringy things. Number 13, the Princess Diana comparison seemed forced to me. The thing about Diana is that she was divorced and she had to kind of make her way. With Meghan, I just don't see a comparison. I do think that they both went out and activist type things, but Diana was really into her boys, especially honoring their family. She sacrificed her time with her kids so her kids could be with the queen, could understand what it was like to be with their cousins. For her, it was everything that her children would be with their family. There's no comparison there. I think some people in the UK actually find that offensive. For example, number 14, it was cringy. The whole panorama interview. Prince William did not want that played at all anywhere again ever, because it was revealed recently that the BBC and Martin Bashir manipulated that interview out of Diana, which was very unfortunate, not something that they want to repeat, and yet they didn't edit it out of the docuseries. So 15, bashing the formality of the royal family. She may not have been trying to do that. The clip then back to Kate and Will, and talking about the formality behind the scenes. Anybody who's been around the block at all, even if you've been in entertainment, you know that there's different cultures with different formality. And especially if the culture of the royal family is like that, and you're somebody who talks about diverse cultures and diverse people, why not apply that to the UK and the Queen and show some respect for that? The formality is one thing. I would know, even as an American, that there are people that I know that I'm going to match their energy. I'm going to be more formal with them if they need it. Kate especially is somebody who's well beloved. For them to allow those clips and those sort of like jump cuts, not a good idea. There's two more. This is what many consider the worst, but I have one after this, is the grand bow that Meghan did. So she was trying to tell the story of how, oh, I didn't know how to curtsy. I didn't know. She even does a clip about the Princess Diaries. Of course, you know that you have to curtsy to the queen. I don't know anybody on the planet who's like, I didn't know you're supposed to curtsy. What's a curtsy? Are you kidding me? I'm supposed to curtsy? Everybody knows that. But then she makes a joke of how it's sort of like medieval times in America, which we all know it's not. I honestly don't think that she thought that. I think she was literally going for the joke. She thought it would be cute. She thought it would be quaint, but it's really not. She's comparing it to like an event that you go to, like with your baseball caps and turkey leg, just kind of watching this jousting. We all know it's not the same. So then she makes this grand bow, and then it cuts over to Harry, and I am shocked, like shocked. So here's number 17. The most cringy and embarrassing thing is not the bow, even though the bow should be. It is Harry allowing all of these things to actually take place. Where is his wisdom in this? Why wouldn't they have edited that out? Why wouldn't they have edited some other things out? The lack of sensitivity in some of these clips is just mind-boggling. And I can actually balance things and say, hey, in some ways, this was actually a lot better than I thought. In other ways, it was like, worse. I think that him going along with this, allowing these things to come out, looking at the entire production, allowing the criticism on so much of the stuff to take place, was a bad judgment on his part. And I think that grand bow that we saw, especially them not taking that out, everything could have kind of slid by, but that presented Meghan, and that's the other thing. Even if she didn't mean to, because there's so many parts of this show where she looks great. And then you put this in there and it's sort of like, oh, I guess the mask is off and this is what we're really seeing, somebody who's going to be mocking the royal family. Those are my cringy things, 17 cringy things. Overall, I don't know, there were things that I really liked about it. Again, I really love the history part. I thought that there were some aspects of it that are going to make them much more beloved in America. I do think that they're going to be still less beloved in their country, and we will see what the next 3 episodes bring. Those are the top 17 cringiest moments from the Harry and Meghan Netflix docuseries. First 3 episodes. Please subscribe to Hot for History. Again, I'm Deanna Falchuk, and I will be bringing you more updates.